Good to go. Then let's get started. And so let's look at dollar index. I do want to pay closer to attention to dollar index now. We're in this latest bit of price action. It is obviously consolidating here in this kind of structure. So certainly looking for a potential reversal. That is how I'm going to kind of approach dollar and dollar pairs for upcoming time. So looking like we have a tendency of a structure, that's good. And is this move going to continue breaking out? Or are we just going to make one more move to the downside and then still break up afterwards? So I'm looking at these two kind of possibility. I talked about this last time that we could be forming an inverse head and shoulder here on the within the structure, which is good, adding confluence to a potential trade. So what I want to see is a confirmation breakout followed by confirmation correction to take it long. I think certainly we are shaping up for a potential dollar strength here. So let's keep an eye on these dollars for the upcoming days and weeks. I still have uh, buyers for them to get strength. So we'll take a look at a few of them. So let's look at Aussie dollar here. Aussie dollar, the way how I'm seeing this still is that this is still a part of this overall structure. Okay, so anything can happen while the price is within, but I'm kind of seeing that bearish momentum right now. Okay, we have that ascending channel here, we had that first push down, so impulse, correction, impulse, and then potentially looking like a larger correction in the making. All right, so which is good. Some of you guys may see this as an inverse head and shoulder. For me personally, when I see a head and shoulder or inverse head and shoulder, I want them to be at the top or the most bottom of the price action, meaning that if we see a head and shoulder pattern on the top of the price action, that's going to have a better probability play out. Same thing as if you see a head and shoulder pattern on the bottom of the structure, they're likely to play out when it's a reversal. So that's why, to me, when I see this, I'm not too convinced that it's an inverse head and shoulder, especially how the price has been at the top of the overall price. So I'm seeing this as a more kind of a bearish kind of price action personally. So certainly seeing this as a bigger consolidation for this move down. So if we can continue, if we can confirm a correction here, kind of a right shoulder almost, if you see it this way, we can see a bearish potential moving down to the lows. And if we can break out of here, then certainly looking for a bigger continuation to add to the sell. So that's kind of what I'm looking at for now on Aussie dollar. I'm not convinced, like I said, seeing this as a potential. Right now, I'm more seeing this is a shoulder, this is an impulse, this is a correction. We can easily break out this correction and making this correction complete to correct overall this move here. Right? So that is Aussie dollar here. Let's go to Kiwi dollar. Hello, how are you guys doing? So Kiwi dollar, same idea, same approach as Aussie dollar, right? We know that on a higher time frame, we've been just seeing this larger kind of expanding structure. We're just having a more expansion price action of that previous large structure, but still, to me, what I'm seeing here is still bearish to me. I still see this as ascending channel. We had a clear impulse, correction impulse, hitting this low now, but now price is just within the structure. It looks like it's trying to form a head and shoulder here as well, very similar like Aussie dollar. So this can continue down to the previous low here. Okay, so certainly watching out for this one in Aussie dollar. Euro dollar is also looking really clean as well. Talk about euro dollar for a couple of weeks now. Once we see price breaks out this ascending channel and the overall kind of higher time frame structure, certainly looking for any continuation would be nice. I think this is certainly a continuation. If we can see that we have a tendency of a structure, we have a few swing highs and few swing lows, and the price is pretty much at this area where it's breaking out now. Personally, I will kind of wait to see what the price will do once it breaks out. I don't want to get too jump into these kind of trades. I want to wait for a little bit confluence, a little bit more confirmation from the price. Certainly seeing downside, I think that's no question about that in terms of kind of where the price has been. certainly see a potential reversal for the price as well after we just been correcting within this larger expanding structure. So look for a completion of correction here, and then look for price to continue to the bottom here. And in my opinion, if we can break out from this larger structure and continuation, certainly this is definitely something I would not want to miss, because it's a signal that this completion of this structure, and that is certainly a reversal structure, and a lower time frame continuation here will be able to bring the price much lower. Okay, so that is euro dollar for me. Morning, good morning, Matt Khan. Hopefully I pronounced that right. So let's keep going. Dollar peso. I went over this weekly outlook and the New York update. Not too much has developed. Still kind of correcting within here. I do put it in green, kind of a secondary watches, because I like where price is now. We kind of broke down from this middle kind of section where you have an impulse, correction impulse. But instead of a continuation to continue lower, what I'm seeing here is more of a neutral correction, almost a reversal kind of structure here. It's very neutral. It's not pushing down or up. But usually when you see something like this, it's pretty much telling you that this impulse is not likely to continue. This is more of a neutral correction, which means eventually we might see reversal out of this correction here. So I'm keeping an eye on this one. Certainly has potential at seeing what the overall price has been. Okay. Are you trading today? I have a few trades open, but I'm not seeing too many things that I want to enter yet. So I'll go over a few that could shape up. Dollar yen is certainly something that I am keeping an eye on now. Usually I don't like to trade dollar yen, because usually I'll have a bias in dollar strength and a bias in yen strength. And usually I don't like to trade up. But what I'm seeing here on dollar yen is actually shaping up something. I like how this piece of the structure here is very corrective. We know certainly that this is in a correction. And if we zoom out here on the higher time frame, there is a very good potential that this overall bullish move is obviously impulsive phrase, and this large correction here is just correcting all this bullish move. And if we can complete, the correction here, certainly a continuation of a breakout is possible. And seeing this on the higher time frame, seeing this where the price has been, I like that this lower time frame is forming this piece, kind of a structure within structure, and certainly looking for that bullish kind of push out of that structure here. So seeing here on the lower time frame, I like how we had this latest bit of lower time frame correction. We had this push to the downside followed by a correction, so naturally we push down more. So another impulse down, but instead of seeing a continuation here, we instead see a bullish reversal. Okay, this is kind of what I keep an eye on all the time, is when you see a reversal impulse after you just see impulse, and it kind of just bounce off on the bottom of this overall structure here, it could be telling us that we can just continue see bullish activities here, bullish momentum. So a correction here, or we just kind of break out from this overall structure followed by a continuation, certainly is something that I would want to get into some buy like that. I like the overall price. I like the higher time frame. I like the lower time frame that is shaping up as well, and I like the risk reward that is potential in this trade. Right. So that is what I see on dollar yen here. Uh, which place will you recommend stop loss? What are you talking about? Are you talking about dollar yen, or are you talking about something else? Dollar yen, or which pair are you talking about? Okay, I'm gonna go over that after. You kind of just jump out of nowhere. So dollars, let's go dollar Singapore dollar. Talk about this in the weekly outlook as well. We're kind of descending structure, pushing this price down, right? And we're kind of seeing the same thing here. we had this push down, but instead of a continuation out of this, instead we have like a bullish reversal, which is good. But because price is still in this area, and I'm still looking for a breakout from this point forward. Whatever can do into this can just bounce up here instead of going indefinitely like this. So I don't really want to get trapped in this overall consolidation. As I always mention, I don't want to trade when the price is in a consolidation phase. Okay, you want to trade when it's in the impulsive phase, right? When there's going to be a higher probability for you to be getting into the price. But when it's still in the corrective phase, I tend not to change. Currently waiting for a little bit more bullish momentum to come in, something like this to break out, and then continue with the continuation correction would be nice. Very similar like dollars are here. We actually broke out of this descending channel followed by this lower time frame channel. So certainly this is a bullish strength now. I want to wait for a little bit more development. Here on the lower time frame, what I really don't like is this is forming a head and shoulder pattern. But certainly this right shoulder is not finished and anything can happen. But I want extra confirmation now because we broke out and it looks like we're trying to form a reversal here. So it would be nice if we can get a larger structure here on the 4 hour. Can we get something like this? This just kind of push up to the upside and then push down, maybe forming something like this, more structure, more tangible, kind of a continuation correction, a larger one after this push up. And certainly I will be looking for maybe a reversal or a breakout entry to the top. Right, so that's kind of what I see for dollars are. I'm not really interested in this sell if that's going to form a right shoulder because I don't see the potential out of this. Certainly lower time frame if you're into these kind of trades, if this right shoulder forms or whatever, yeah. But I'm more looking at this as a potential reversal structure. We push up, we can follow by a continuation, and we can go after that. All right, so that is dollars are. I'm gonna go over crypto after, guys. I just have to go in order, please. So I'm gonna go over currency. I'll jump to commodities and I'll jump to crypto after. Okay. So let's continue. Dollar CAD, sure. I can go over dollar CAD. Not too interesting. I think I mentioned this one on the weekly outlook and daily outlook because this kind of traced down back to this bottom now, and we didn't really have that bullish continuation, which is what I'm looking for to continue the price. But looking like this is just kind of showing you CAD is a little bit too strong in this sense, right? We trying to break up from this channel as well. And then again, no continuation on the lower time frame to continue. So I'm not really seeing anything at the moment. I'm certainly not seeing the sell because price has already moved so much down, right? You probably want to wait for a little bit bigger kind of correction. Right? This is already a pretty sharp move down. If you're looking for a sell, at least wait for price to kind of pull back for the structure like this to continue downwards. Other than that, I'm happy to stay out of this one. What's going on Bitcoin? I can go over. I'm gonna go over Bitcoin after. Okay, I'm gonna go over all the crypto after as well. So bear with me here while I go through all the forex. So let's jump into a few other ones that I think can shape up really well. I still like Aussie Cat here. We are pretty much seeing this breakout, right? This is pretty good for me. Um, Remember I mentioned price doesn't have to break out right away, right? It can just bounce off on this and continue down upwards before a breakdown. So in this case, pretty much happened. If we just extend the structure here, we push down for the structure, good, and we form a potential continuation. This is kind of what we're seeing here in this area, which is good. So my approach on this is a couple way. I do like that we broke out for a continuation. So certainly this is a continuation here that is forming. Certainly here can be a potential sell already. Um, or if you want to see this more, because price hasn't really moved much on this top, you can wait for a clear breakout followed by a clear continuation. That is also a valid sell as well. Certainly a sell down to the low here would be pretty good risk reward just from here to here, and potentially looking for further downside if we can break below. Aussie Swiss, very similar, went over this pretty much this whole week. Just not ready yet. We're not seeing this kind of bearish breakout that I keep talking about, right? I mentioned you can look for a sell here and it's valid within your trading plan, but you gotta watch out your risk reward. You gotta care about how deep or how far the structure can go. This can continue upwards for a little bit while it just take you out for your trade and then before the bearish move down, right? So personally, for me, I'm waiting for this structure to complete, waiting for this consolidation to happen, and wait for the strong breakout followed by a correction here to go down lower. Right, so that's kind of what I see on this one. Moving on to Aussie Yen. So Aussie Yen took a loss here. We'll go over this in my weekly trade recap video. Took a sell here when price broke down from the top. We had this kind of a rising wedge reversal structure. We're at that kind of daily double top and top of that overall structure of this expanding structure that we're seeing. So I'm just looking for that downside, right? I'm still going to be looking for downside even though the first trade didn't work out, but I certainly see the potential out of this. So that's only my plan already if I take a loss here. But I know that structurally we can just form a bigger consolidation here, and we're still going to drop afterwards. So I'm going to keep an eye on this, right? I don't want to be like a lot of traders who took a loss or multiple losses and they kind of just turn their head away from the pair or from the market. But then when they turn back, the market already has moved. Right, so always have a plan when you enter a trade. Always make sure that if you take a loss or you get off a break even or whatever the case it may be, what is your plan afterwards? Are you getting back into the trade or are you, uh, you know, stay out of it for now, right? Let's continue here. So that's what I see on Aussie Yen. Okay, I still see a lot of potential here. Just want to see either a structure complete here. If we can break out followed by a small continuation. Even the trade just down to the lows of this is already very good. But if you look at where the price is now, certainly the downside potential is pretty promising, right? You want to be able to be in this reversal impulsive phase, which is likely to happen. If it happens, it's going to be very, very fast, right? That's the tendency of the price. When we see a structural completion, we tend to see that very strong bearish move coming from the market. So same idea here, right? We completed this potential structure and then we pushed down very hard. So certainly can something happen in this area as well. So I'll keep an eye on this for the upcoming days or week. Have you ever taken a look at yen pass? What is that? I've never seen that symbol before. So Euro yen is looking very clean. Talk about this whole week as well because it's shaping up to kind of what I'm looking for now, right? We have this double top on the price, and then we have this ascending channel. Clearly, we reverse from the top here. We had a push down followed by impulse, push down again. Remember, why I didn't want to take this and stuff like that because we seen many times that price has pushed down, but it did not break out of the structure. What is key here is you want to wait for a confirmation, right? This is in the bearish move in the lower time frame, great, but can we have enough momentum to kind of break out and then give us some sort of continuation that we're going to see resume of this bearish move, right? That is always what I look for in the price. It's good that we're seeing a higher time frame reversal. It's good that where the price is, we have this M style pattern, and then we are at the top of the overall price that has been. So everything is adding good confluence for a potential reversal. But because this correction can drag on forever, you see if we're just kind of bouncing off here and then we just push up again, I don't want to get trapped in this. And structurally, nothing changes after this completes like this. And then we still drop afterwards, right? And correction is still forming, correction is still evolving, and nothing wrong with that. All right, so that is for me, just looking for a little bit extra confirmation here. Not much here. Last one to go over is Kiwi Cad, very similar like Aussie Cad. Also took a loss here. If I go over that in the trade recap as well, enter a short here. I like how we had this lower time frame breakout. This is clearly an impulse. We had this kind of ascending channel correction. So I like what I'm seeing. Just when I woke up was a little bit too late to put an entry order here, but I see a lower time frame correction here, so I put an entry order here with a pretty good stop loss. But looks like it just kind of pegged me out and then continued to the side direction. So that's fine with me because I'm seeing that we can just be in a full-on reversal bearish move now. So looking for continuation to get in would be nice. So that's what I am kind of waiting for. Same thing with Aussie Yen. It's the same plan, right? Even if I get take out in a position, but the overall direction, overall bias, overall kind of potential reversal is still there. So I'm not going to deviate from it. As long as I see good price action to be looking for a sell, I will still be able to get in. Okay, so that's Kiwi Cad for you guys. Certainly is something that can shape up for the coming days or so. Yeah, I mean, I certainly see yen could be potential for strength. All right, so that's all the currency pairs I'm looking at. Any other pairs that you guys are looking at before I jump into commodities and crypto and all that? Aussie Kiwi and Euro Cad, yeah. So Euro Cad, I remember in Telegram, in my Telegram, some of you guys may got in the sell, or you guys are at least talking about the sell. So potentially, remember I talked about I wasn't really interested in the sell, and I only see when I was looking at this, and I was saying that the only bias I have at the time is a potential sell, but I wasn't really interested. So, but if you got in, if you guys are in, I think that's good. You know, if you're holding the trade, I think looking back at this is a potential structure. We had this potential completion of the structure. We had a push down, correction, and we pushed down again. Right. So certainly now that it's looking more and more bearish now, what I want to see here is continuation now, right? We broke out potentially out the structure. To continue the bearish move, we want to see continuation correction, which is likely to develop here if we're looking for that. Okay, but for now, be a little bit patient if you're not in the trade. I think the trade was to enter from the top here. Um, this was certainly a potential entry here, in my opinion. Impulse correction, we impulse out. But because we pushed down quite a bit already, so don't jump into any like 5-minute flag here now, right? You want to wait for a little bit bigger structure to form. Something like this before resuming down to the bottom, right? If we're looking at the structure like this. So we had double top here, we had a push down, correction, push down, larger correction, and then we're potentially pushing down again. All right, so that is what I see on Euro Cad. Aussie Kiwi, Aussie Kiwi is moving up, which is good. You know, remember I talked about this, which is getting close to what I want to see now. If you guys recall, I was in the trade from here. Managed to get all right about here. Price gonna retrace back down. And I mentioned that's fine with me. That was my management plan anyways. You know, in this case, price kind of just retest back and then continue to the desired direction. But hey, anything can happen in the market. It's all about how you manage your trade accordingly. You can't manage based on emotion, right? You can't just be like, okay, I decide to exit here or enter here, and then the next time you choose it differently, and then you just making decision based on emotion. And that's how a lot of traders lose a lot of money in trading when they start, you know, when they start making emotional decisions, right? So you're gonna have a plan. You're gonna have a plan to follow it, and that's how you stay emotionless when it comes to trading. Anyway, so looking back at Aussie Kiwi, this is doing exactly what I want to do, what I originally wanted to see, right? So once we see the price break above this previous high, certainly looking for continuation, right? I talk about this. If the price continue to break above this previous high in an impulsive way, look for continuation correction. I'm certainly looking to jump back into this. This is getting to that position now, which is great. So looking for something that's a little bit bigger, right? I don't want to see something small now. Potentially bigger structure would be nice, even a more bigger structure like this. So if we push up, followed by a correction, and then certainly looking for more continuation. All right, so that's Aussie Kiwi and Euro Cad, Euro Aussie, Euro Aussie. Some of you guys asked me about Euro Aussie, and my approach is the same. Yes, it's potentially forming a reversal structure like a descending channel, but I'm not really going to speculate where the bottom is. Okay, I don't, so many times I see traders get trapped in this kind of positions where they're hoping this is the end of the bearish run, and we're just going to see a massive reversal. Not likely if the price continue down, right? And why try to guess where the bottom is? To let the price correct itself, and then eventually, if it's going to continue, it's going to break up and continue forward and look for lower time frame to get in, right? Yes, you're going to miss some profit, but you're just going to be entering at a safer position, a less risk position, in my opinion. Okay, so that's your Aussie. I did go over Euro Dollar. Euro Dollar, like I said, it's good, looking good. We broke out this ascending channel. This is clearly a bearish push down followed by a continuation. So if it's going to continue, let it continue. Look for a, you can either look for a sell here or you can wait for price to break out from here. And if it break out from this larger structure that we're in, certainly I can see that the bearish move can continue more and more. All right, so that is Euro Dollar for you. So let's continue more these other currencies, right? So let's go over commodities. So some of you guys are looking at commodities, and we'll go over gold as well. Natural gas. Someone asked me about natural gas. Same idea as what I update in New York sessions. I like how we're potentially breaking out this higher time frame kind of flag structure. This is a strong impulse followed by a continuation period and a continuation correction. And now that we're seeing a strong bullish breakout, which is good. So can we form a continuation here? This is kind of the same idea as dollar ZAR, where we broke out and it's kind of forming, head and shoulder at dollar ZAR. This looks to me like this had this push down followed by potential correction. And that's why I'm not going to jump into these right away, right? Wait for a little bit more development for the price. If we get a period consolidation here, that would be great. And then that it's showing that this is a clear impulse, this is a complete correction, and we're likely to see the next impulsive phrase. Okay, so that's my approach on natural gas. Definitely see the potential of natural gas to continue upwards. I do see a lot of room on higher time frame for a potential continuation. That's the structure you have, great. So let's continue here. Sugar. So sugar is the trade I'm still in. Remember, my plan was always to just hold a break even. I didn't even want to move to one because I have seen sugar tendency in the past where I did enter a trade, kind of price just retraced back down, and it took me out, and then kind of just resumed the whole bullish move. So I'm happy and fine with a break even stop loss. I'm just going to let the trade run if it's going to form more continuation because I like where we are. We're potentially breaking past the previous swing high top. And if we're going to continue, we're likely to continue very bullishly, breaking above previous high and then uh, pretty much move on to a full-on bullish move. Right? We've been consolidating in this range for quite some time, since June 2017, and we are getting that potential to break out this period of consolidation. You can see price has been much higher than that in the past, which means this is just a period of correctional phrase. If we can finish all this kind of correctional period, certainly can see the rise of that. All right, so that is sugar for me. I'm happy to hold the trade. I don't have even, I'm looking for the next swing high as a potential target. Okay, so lots of room to the upside, but certainly it has to a break of this previous high confirm, continuation before reaching the next high, of course. So that is what I see on sugar. It's running about 2%. Okay. Let's look at silver and gold. I know some of you guys are also looking at silver and gold. So silver, not sure some of you guys are still holding it. I saw you guys talk about that in Telegram. Um, Enter the sell here, looking like we break the previous low now. I really don't think this is all the correction we need. Potentially, we can form just a deeper correction like this, and then we're still dropping to the lows. And I talk about that, this cell certainly can have the merit in there, but I think the cell was at the top where there was a much cleaner kind of lower time frame correction. You just have to be aware if you're looking for a sell like this, we're getting close to the low. So what if price just kind of bounce back from the bottom and then continue forward, right? Continue bullishly. So you always have to keep in mind that when you enter sell positions like these, after the price has already moved and we're in this kind of higher time frame structure, there's always a tendency that price can just bounce back from the bottom, continue, right? So if you look for a sell, make sure you move your stop to break even, and then kind of observe to see what price will do when we reach the bottom, all right? Of course, that we can just kind of resume the bearish move. We break out and then form continuation, we push down, and this will be a better trade as well, to look for a trade like this and then look for price to continue lower and lower. All right, but for now, we want to see a continuation here to give you that bias. So let's talk about gold. I know lots of you guys are looking at gold, so I'll give you guys kind of my take on this still. Uh, we know that gold has this kind of reversal at the top here, which is giving us a sign that the larger higher time frame structure is still correcting. So this can be that ascending channel. We had the smaller ascending channel kind of bounce back and we push down, right? And I'm gonna say this again is that I'm not looking for a sell here. I know some of you guys are certainly looking for a sell, and certainly it's likely to happen, right? Making the push to the downside and then potentially reverse up. The reason being, and I'll say it again, is because I see the higher time frame still in that bullish move. I understand that the lower time frame needs to make a correction to push the price down, but I'm going to be looking for reversal possibility because this is a strong bullish push. This can be just a larger higher time frame correction, and I'm looking for the buy, and that's kind of why my multi-time frame analysis is that I weigh heavier on the higher time frame. Even though lower time frame here is pretty clear that we had this ascending channel, we pushed down, we had this kind of potential continuation in the making. So certainly a push down is likable, is very likely to happen. And then actually I want it to happen so that I can be looking for a reversal. But it's just that it doesn't fit my plan to take a trade like this. I just need to make sure that if there is 3-to-1 risk reward, and because it's going against where the higher time frame of my bias potentially, so I don't want to enter a sell like this. But certainly a sell is probable to happen in order for me to look for a buy, right, from the bottom. Okay, just because my buy here is just going to be better risk reward, right, potentially safer because we're completing the higher time frame structure, and then we have a lot more momentum from the bullish activity that we have seen all the way from the bottom here. All right, so that's my reason of that. Okay, so any question on these guys? I haven't gone over Bitcoin, but I will go over Bitcoin after. Any question on these commodities, guys, before I jump into crypto? I'm going a little bit faster today because not too much is happening. I already outlined most of the things that I'm looking for. Still needs a little bit more development. All right, so no question here. Let's continue. Good analysis on gold. Appreciate it. That's just kind of how I see things. Everyone can trade, everyone can analyze the market differently. Remember, I always mention there's no right and wrong when it comes to trading, right? You might be looking for a trader might be looking for a sell here. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Um, I personally, weight heavier on my multi-time frame analysis. When I take a trade, I want to see all the time frames, at least the higher time frame and lower time frame. They're telling me the same thing, giving me the same bias for a buy or giving me the same bias for a sell. That's just added confluence. That's just for me to look for better probability trade, higher probability trade, right? Uh, Looking for those better risk reward trades, right? Because if you're always looking for, one-to-one trades, your strike rate has to be very high for you to be profitable, right? You have to be like 70 or 80%, which is very hard to do if you're looking for a one-to-one risk reward trade. Okay, your strike rate has to be high. Whereas if I'm looking for at least 3-to-1 risk reward, my strike rate doesn't have to be high. I just need to be in the 30-40% range, and I can still be profitable in this kind of trade. Okay, so always think about your risk reward, because you know you gotta think of it that um, every one loss you have, how many wins you need to cover that, right? So let's talk about Bitcoin. I don't know if you guys are in Bitcoin, but I'm still holding my Bitcoin from the bottom. Well, not the bottom, but this is the entry that I took after we broke that 20,000 level and the previous swing high. And this is a prime example of follow your plan, right? Remember I talk about this when price is up here. I told you guys still gonna be just keeping 1% stop loss. I don't really care what happened to it when this all swing to the bottom. And I still mentioned I did not get emotional. I did not try to exit the trade. I'm happy to just let the coin run, because you have to understand that we broke the previous high, right? This is clearly all-time high before. We broke the previous high. We're just continue with the continuation, and then we're just in a massive bullish trend. Certainly, a correction is needed, but I'm more seeing this as a long-term kind of hold perspective, right? If we look at here on Bitcoin more on a higher time frame approach, we've seen these kind of move over and over again, right? I'm gonna go over other crypto as well, but these bigger scoop kind of formation we see a lot in different markets. We see price break all-time high, we continue onwards, and then we just full on get into the bullish move. Okay, and I'm just not seeing any bearish move at all from the market at all. Okay, that's why for my take, I'm just holding the trades, just continuously holding and see what will happen. I already went over the first Forex pair, guys, so I'm gonna have to finish all this before I jump back to it. So what I see on Bitcoin now, well, I don't think you should be looking for a buy. I think what you should do is wait for price to at least break the previous high. This is the previous swing high, right? So you want for price to break previous swing high followed by correction. Then certainly looking for a buy here would be ideal, because you don't want price to kind of move up and hit this double top and then kind of start reversing. You don't want to deal with that, right? So certainly waiting for a confirmed push up followed by a continuation would be nice. That's something I would be looking forward to possibly scale in as well. All right, so that's Bitcoin. Let's move on to other ones. So Bitcoin Cash, talk about this a few times already. I'll point out again. I like where we are on the higher time frame. We're potentially breaking out of this higher time frame kind of structure here, right? Which is good. You gotta understand that every time we price break out of this any higher time frame structure, it's always good to be looking for continuation. Okay, so we broke this previous high, so don't uh, impulsively, right? So this structure is potentially finished, and looking for a lower time frame correction here would be very ideal for that continuation, right? Many of my entries comes to something like this, right? It's a correction after breakout, right? So correction after a large uh, consolidation period, and then if we have that continuation on the lower time frame, uh, has a very good probability to work out. Okay, so certainly keep an eye on this one for the upcoming days or weeks. Nothing is ready yet. I don't really see much here on the lower time frame. Okay, so Ethereum, yeah, let's go over Ethereum really quick. Just have to be careful here because remember when I saw this in the beginning of the week, I mentioned this is looking like an ascending channel. Sure enough, we have this bearish push down. Is this forming a potential continuation? That's why you gotta be careful now. This can be a continuation correction. We might just see price push down more and more. Okay, so you want to be careful on this. Don't jump into the buy yet, right? I know some people show me these buy the dip strategy, right? When price push down very massively, start buying the dip. Um, I'm not, I'm not here to speculate what strategy works or what strategy doesn't, but just be careful, right? Because I see this as solely from a price action point of view. Then this is ascending channel. It's a reversal structure. We obviously have been, if you look back at the price, we obviously have been pushing price pretty bullishly, right? So it's about time to see some kind of reversal, which is what we're happening here. And then we see a strong lower time frame push down. So if this completes as a continuation correction for this move, then we want to be careful to not get trapped in here. All right, so that's Ethereum for you guys. But higher time frame wise, I'll go over this again. But higher time frame is looking very promising because we can see that we're approaching all-time high now. Okay, and if you look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin already has broken that all-time high and it just kind of continue upwards after. So certainly Ethereum can have the same tendency to do. Remember we talked about the scoop formation. Most of the market, if you kind of do backtesting, you'll see similar kind of price action. So how do I take advantage of this? Well, are we going to form a larger kind of deeper correction here to continue the price, which is obviously something I'll be looking for, or we're just going to see full-on breakout from there and continue upwards. And either way, for me probably is waiting for a confirmation breakout. I'm already in a couple other crypto trades, so I'm not worried about fear of missing out, whatever. I know the crypto pairs, if they're going to move, they're all likely to move together. And waiting for a little bit more extra confirmation for me is ideal in this case. Okay. Can you explain your strategy on Forex pair? They're all the same. The way how I analyze the market or style strategy, whatever people call it's the same on any markets. Doesn't matter on Forex, crypto, indices, or commodity. It's the same for me. So let's talk about Link. Remember I talked about Link this yesterday, last New York session as well. Um, I mentioned not too interesting in here now because I'm seeing this head and shoulder pattern in the making, and I didn't really like price. It could be giving us that reversal down, and the same approach as Ethereum because again we're approaching this all-time high now. So why kind of gamble almost to hope the price will break out? Why don't we just wait for price to break out, followed by continuation, and we get in on this, and it will just be a better risk reward, safer trade, and again scoop formation that we have seen in the past, and likely to see the trend continue. Right, so don't need to speculate to guess. This is kind of what a lot of questions I get from new traders are like, when do I enter? How should I enter? Things like that. Should I enter now? Should I enter later? My answer is always you need to have a plan, right? You can't just blindly follow others without you having your own plan because if you don't, you're gonna get into emotional trading once again because simply following other people, signals, whatever, it may or may not work for you long short term, but it's certainly not going to work for you long term because you're not understanding why they execute or why you should execute or why you should exit. Right. So have a plan. If you're looking for trading, if you're serious about trading, you should really right? Develop your own trading plan. You have to have your own risk management, and follow it accordingly. That's going to how you become a consistent trader. Okay, so let's continue. So let's go about let's talk about Litecoin here since we're talking about that LTC. Uh, well, this did kind of what I was kind of more. I talked about this in the beginning of the week. Same thing as Ethereum. When the price formed this kind of ascending channel, and it's kind of rejecting this previous kind of swing high area. I mentioned about don't don't get trapped into something like this. Okay, because this is exactly what price is doing, is that we're forming a reversal after we have been moving so bullishly up, like very impulsively, and price is likely to make a deeper correction, which is what it's not doing now. Right? We have this bearish push down and potentially forming a bearish continuation, very similar like Ethereum, right? If you look at this, very similar. This is why don't this is why I said don't kind of buy the dip. This I know some of you guys may be looking to do that. But price action wise, this is kind of giving us a potential reversal to continue the bearish movement. I don't want to get stuck into trade like these, especially we kind of reject this previous top, right? We know that this is the previous top. Price is heading to this previous top now. Anything can happen. Is this going to form a double top and reject and then start reverse down, or this is just a temporary pullback on the lower time frame, and we can potentially just break out afterwards. Remember, price has been much higher than before. Right? This is again overall scoop kind of formation I talk about. So if we're going to break out, if we break out with a continuation, certainly looking for smaller, lower time frame to buy would be ideal. Lots of room to the upside to the next swing high. But if price doesn't break that, if it's just going to a bearish move, then no trade for me. I'm not looking for the sell here. I like the overall bullish move that we have been in, so I certainly will be looking for bullish continuation after the small bearish move happened, and then still resuming the up move here. Hey, Stock Capper, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thanks, buddy. So let's continue. That's Litecoin, right? Last one to go over Stellar. So I enter another Stellar position. If you guys recall, I was in one of the Stellar positions, so I got off for about 0.5% or something as price kind of made this deeper pullback. Let me just see if I can show you. This deeper pullback here kind of just take me out. Anyways, what I'm seeing here now is a potential completion of this bullish move. Sorry, we had this bullish impulse followed by a bullish continuation correction, and this was the push that was the originally one I'm looking for. Right, we pushed the upside, which is good, and there's a lower time frame correction. This is where I got in the trade. And then as price continued to develop here, we're just forming a larger continuation. So very similar like the one before. This is just a large impulse followed by a continuation kind of flag correction. And we certainly can see the next up move from this point forward. Uh, so I already got into this trade. I think I went over this in the New York session. I entered this trade live. So enter this trade live once it broke out this. I could have entered earlier a little bit lower as well. I just think I was on the stream that time, so I couldn't catch it. But I entered this anyways, just to see what the price will do if we can just continue to the previous kind of swing high top. That was my first trade target anyway, so I'm sticking to my plan to see what the price will do at this higher time frame top. Do we have enough momentum to break through and then continue upwards? All right, so for now, I'm happy to hold the trade, happy to take a trade here. I think this always fits my plan. This is a correction after breakout. I talk about these in my entries in my ebook. This is certainly a larger kind of correction. We had a few swing highs and few swing lows to complete a structure. and then lower time frame descending channel, lower time frame bullish push, continuation correction, looking for continuation. Okay, so that is dollar for you guys. I'm new. You can you can keep looking at my analysis. I'm gonna go over a bunch more things, so just stay on. You can learn more. So let's continue. Some of you guys mentioned a few things. Let me just looking at it. ING USD, is that crypto? Hopefully it is. I don't have too much data here. Let me just see. Yeah, this is relatively new probably, but just looking at what this most current price, right? Clearly we're in the bullish trend, and I like this large bullish continuation, right? We have this in bullish trend. This is clearly an impulsive phrase. This is a larger continuation. We're breaking out now, which is good. So if there's a lower time frame continuation, I do like that is a potential buy if you're looking for that. Okay, so I personally don't trade too many other of these altcoins. I'm just focusing, if you can see on my watch list, I focus on just the main ones usually. So any other question on crypto, guys, before I move on? These are the only one I'm looking at for for the upcoming days or so. Upcoming days to the end of the week. If not, I'll jump into indices and I'll finish with currency at the end. Some of you guys asked for a few currency. I'll wrap those up at the end. Uh, so let's look at Dow Jones here. I go over this pretty much every stream, but really not much to update. I kind of have to repeat kind of what I said, but because that is what's happening, right? We're not seeing too much development yet. Okay, but if you look at what has happened, and I point out this kind of almost every stream, is when you see these higher time frame kind of correction in the making, and if you really done a lot of back testing in the past, you'll notice that they happen all the time, right? This is the tendency of how the indices always move. Okay, they move in that kind of ascending nature correctively, okay, building up momentum, kind of catching a lot of buy traders in here. And then once all these positions are filled, we see like the massive drop, right? And I kind of have to point out again that, if we done enough back testing, what we'll start seeing these things over and over again. It'll give you extra confidence or confluence when you look for a sell. Talk to many traders when they ask me questions, when they often say, I always miss entries. I'm not sure if this is the entry to go. I'm not really sure that the entry is going to work out, things like that. And I mentioned, do you backtest? Do you do forecasting? Do you do a lot of journaling? And honestly, most of the time, the answer is no from the people, from the traders that ask me for help. And I kind of ask them, why don't you do that, right? Why don't you journal down your trades? I feel like a lot of traders are just don't want to admit they take a trade loss. They don't want to admit that the trade that they took was a loss. They don't want to write it down. It's kind of an embarrassment, or they think their ego is hurt. But you gotta remove all that, guys. You gotta remove all your ego, remove all this negative mindset. If you're ever serious about trading, start journaling down every single trade you took. Every single trade you took starting now. Journal them down so you know exactly what when if it goes to profit or it goes to loss, especially the losses. Especially the losses trades that you journal is going to help you to be a better trader. So every trade that you took as a loss, there's something to be learned from. Okay, so for you not to journal down your trade, you're missing out opportunity to improve on your trading skills. Okay, so really think about what I just said. If you're ever serious about trading, journal down every single trade that you take. That's gonna help you to be a better, consistent trader. Okay, so they will also give you that confirmation in your head because we're human, right? We're not machines. We're not built to be, we're not built to realize or learn things instantaneously. Our mind takes time to learn things. So the more you do back testing, the more you see previous price action, the more you see they play out, the more your brain is programmed now to think, okay, so the next time when I see similar things, my bias in my head is I sell, and I'll be looking for some sort of bearish reversal from the top, and then I'll have a plan to try to capitalize on a potential sell, right? So where can you get guidance? Start looking at TradingView people's posts, start looking at analysis, start looking at YouTube video, not those get rich quick scams, whatever. Start looking at actual analysis breakdown of videos. Start looking at, things that are actually going to teach you about trading rather than those profit because they're just trying to sell you something. Okay. So if you're interested, you can look at my channel because I give out all these contents for on my YouTube if you want to learn every single things about what I do. I made all the videos. I break down all my lessons, all my entries, setups, things like that. It's all in this all my YouTube channel. You can look at them and then learn from them. Hello there. Hello. Okay, so I'm gonna continue here. So S&P 500, all the U.S. indices, I'm seeing the very similar things. We're in this kind of potential ascending channel in the making, so obviously a correction once again. Doesn't really matter how far and how deep in this is moving because I've seen these move all the time, right? Let them correct, let them form its thing, right? Let them correct all it's needed, and then wait for the breakout afterwards, right? Same thing as the Dow Jones we just go over. It's gonna be the same as Nasdaq, what I'm about to go over, but my bias here is still the sell. I know that this can goes on forever. This can go on for a little bit longer or whatever it is, but when it's ready to reverse, we're going to see that move. Okay, so I'm not interested in the buy. Where is the buy going to? I'm not interested. We're still in a period of consolidation. Not looking for a buy. Not even looking for a sell until I see a really confirmation sell. Right, something to break out from the structure. So a strong bearish move, followed by a bearish continuation correction, and then looking for further downside. Okay, until I see that, I'm happy to be let the market play itself, right? There's no need to guess where it's going, right? You don't need to always be in the position. If you're not in the position, that's good, right? You don't have to be always in positions to make money, right? You just have to take few trades in a month, and if they work out, you're gonna be great profits, right? You don't have to take hundreds and hundreds of trades to be in good profit, okay? So that's S&P. Last one I'm gonna go over Nasdaq. So Nasdaq, same thing, right? We're in this kind of ascending channel. We've seen these very all the time again, right? We've seen them over and over again. So no difference here in this case, right? We're seeing them over and over again in the market. It's just whether or not they finish today, tomorrow, next week, next month. We can't predict that, right? But what we can predict is we're seeing bearish reversals, we're seeing bearish price action. So be prepared for that bearish reversal. That's kind of all we can do as price action traders. You want to be prepared, you want to have a bias, you want to have a plan, most importantly, to how to capitalize on this. You're not going to start jumping into it because you start dropping and you start panicking because you think this is going to take off without you, and it just kind of forms deeper correction, takes you out, and then still continue downwards. And you're just gonna be so much emotional adrenaline. So make sure you always have a plan before you enter a position. Okay, I think this is key between consistent trader and inconsistent trader. An inconsistent trader will just blindly enter a lot of positions because they're worried that the positions will go without them. They're afraid that if they don't enter now, they're not going to enter again. Whereas consistent trader will always have a plan before they enter. What is their plan to enter? Like what is their entry point? How they want to see the price to develop in order to enter the potential sell, and then look for a possible entry accordingly. They know that they're not going to catch all the market out there. They just need to catch some and consistently catch some in the market to consistently grow. Okay. So that is what I see for me. Again, same thing is not interesting when the price is in this area. You can just push down and push up. So wide gap trap in this consolidation. Wait for a clear breakout from this ascending channel, followed by a continuation correction. Even a right shoulder, head and shoulder pattern would be very nice to look for a continuation to the downside. Okay, so that is Nasdaq. So that's all the US ones, all bearish to me. Okay, nothing changes. Nothing has been changed since November or even earlier, like presidential election. After the presidential election, if you notice, all of the US industry has just been moving in this way. Okay, so maybe they're waiting for something. As we know, before some major news happened, let's say like COVID, before COVID happened, did anybody expect this to happen after when COVID comes out? No one expect market to crash, right? But the market crashed anyways. But if you look back where the price was, it gives you a little bit of a clarity, right? We have this ascending channel, and then price is pretty much forming a double top here, all-time top. This is during this time before COVID happened, before the recovery. This is all-time top, right? So price formed this head and shoulder pattern, and then what happens now, right? So we had this breakout, and then once we break out, then we're going to fall on pretty much in a bearish move now, right? See, there's a lower time frame continuation correction here on the 15-minute or lower time frame. But that is all it's need, right? Because once this higher time frame ascending channel finishes, once we break out, once we have a continuation, there's no stopping this to go down further, right? It just kind of collapse from that point forward, right? So this is why doing backtesting is so important, guys, so that when you see the similar setups again, you will know how to capitalize on these, okay? And you won't have that fear in your head that what if the trade doesn't work out, what if the whatever, right? Trading is all about probability, guys, right? There's no right and wrong. As long as you have a plan, you follow it, and you backtest enough, you know that the probability is on your side. Take the same trade over and over again. It's not going to work out 10 out of 10. It might work out 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10. But if you keep your risk reward 3-to-1 minimum, you're not going to be at a loss at the end of the month. Okay. Any question, guys? Let's go over these dollar pairs or currency pairs that you guys are asking. Dollar Swiss, right? Not really favorite dollar Swiss, but I can see why you're looking at it. Remember, I talked about this in the weekly outlook, and the New York market update is that we're in this potential reversal correction, very similar like most of the dollar pairs, especially dollar index. If you look at this. So there's again a few approach to this. Either a breakout from here and then continue with a continuation, or a pullback to all the way to the bottom here. Right, we can see a tendency of a inverse head and shoulder in the making as well, which is good. But looking for a little bit more completion here. Nothing is complete yet. This can just push up to there and then drop down, right? So don't enter blindly here, in my opinion. Euro Cad already went over, right? So pound pairs, not really interested in pound pairs. I know you guys bring up pound pairs kind of every stream, but I'm just really not into it. Okay, and I talk about this every stream. every time is I don't like this period of consolidation or this period of erratic movement from the price. Every time when price is showing us a potential bearish move, it's just not going anywhere, right? We've seen these bearish push down many times already, but none of them really work out. None of them even reach the bottom of the structure. So that just shows to me that this is what the price is going to do for a while now. So just stay away from this, right? Because there's just better dollar pairs to be looking for. Or if you're looking for pound yen to looking for sell, okay, similar idea, right? This period of price I don't really like. There's just better yen pairs in my opinion, like Aussie yen for that sell or Euro yen for the sell. I think they're just much cleaner and much better in that sense. I get this question a lot, Moses. I think you guys are referring to some other people that may trade that way, but remember I talked about I don't need to wait for three touches in the pattern. It can just be two, it can just be four. It doesn't really have to be three. What it really matters is the structure complete when I look at it. So let's look at Aussie yen as an example. Um, this could be considered a third touch, but really doesn't have to, right? It doesn't have to touch the third line. What it matters is, are we seeing lower time frame kind of reversal? Are we seeing lower time frame bearish move, or any kind of stalling, any kind of consolidation where that give us a clue that we're not going to continue higher anymore. We're reacting to this overall higher time frame structure, and what price is likely to do now is, attempt to push to the upside and then reverse from that top, which is exactly what price is doing now, right? So this is an area where we should keep a very close attention on. Is I'm not going to just short based on some candles. I think some of you guys asked me, can I go short now with a high pass candle? Honestly, I don't think that's enough confluence for a sell. Candlestick formation is added confluence, but it's not a must. Is why I always say it's not a must, because what I look at is, do we have price action, bearish price action, right? We have this rising wedge, price push to the upside. We have the daily double top. We have the top of that expanding structure, and then we had that lower time frame push down, and potentially this is a continuation structure if we break out from here. Okay, so it doesn't really have to do a third touch, whatever. What I look for is a completion of lower time frame reversal, and then look for a continuation. That's kind of how I look for it. I went over gold earlier. I can go over again. So gold, remember, my higher time frame analysis doesn't change. My higher time frame analysis is in a bullish trend, right? We have been moving very bullishly in the past. So certainly, in my opinion, this is just a larger potential bullish flag continuation. Okay, so waiting for a completion of the structure to buy would be very ideal. Looking at lower time frame, now that we have this ascending channel, we're looking like we're reversing down now. I mentioned about there is a sell here, certainly a sell to take if you're interested in these sells, because the price needs to push it to the bottom before I consider a buy. Okay, but because of how I trade, how my management and my trading plan, this goes against kind of where the higher time frame is likely to go. So I'm fine missing this sell, missing potential sell profit, but I'm looking for the buy. Okay. So, any other question, guys, or any other pair? A little bit quicker today, but not much to look at. That's why I'm going slightly quicker. But for those other ones I mentioned, these can shape up in the upcoming day or two, right, before market close at the end of the week. Hey, you're welcome. No problem. Yeah, I mean, those of you guys who are new, if you like this kind of trading, you want to learn more, I do all my analysis, all my posts, all my things on my Telegram. If you're interested, this is under my channel, Aries Trading. If you're interested, you can join this. This is where I update all my positions, I upload all my links for my streams, all my educational lessons and videos, all the things like that. All right, that's all in my Telegram. Okay, and YouTube, you guys already saw. Just go on Aries Trading YouTube. That's where I post all my streams, all my strategy lessons, entries, risk management, trading psychology. All the structures and patterns that breakdown. That's all in there. If you're interested, you can take a look. All right. So no other question, guys. Then I'll be happy to end the stream now. Like I said, looking forward to a little bit more development on some of the crypto and some of the currency pairs as well that I'll be towards. Okay. No problem, guys. Thank you. Kiwi Swiss, sure. Give me a second. Kiwi Swiss. Yeah, Kiwi Swiss was on my watch list. I don't know why. So okay, so I do like Kiwi Swiss. I like how we're having this ascending channel, and we're at the top of this overall price action. We're potentially forming a more M style pattern as well. So a reason double top, ascending channel, and then if this can break out from here, followed by continuation, I think this will be a good trade to sell. And certainly lots of room to the downside if we can continue this bearish kind of move. Okay, so that's what I see on Kiwi Swiss. Very similar like Euro Kiwi, I guess. Euro Kiwi, however, is not too clear. It looks like we're potentially just continue this bearish move. Continuation, we push down. Is this a lower time frame correction? It's hard to tell. This is kind of saying that there's same idea as Euro Aussie, where I mentioned some of you guys may be seeing Euro Aussie as potential reversal. I do see that as well, but I'm not just gonna kind of start calling this as a bottom now and then just buying here, hoping it will take off. I need to wait for confirmation, right? I want to wait for this structure to complete. In order for this to complete, it has to continue to upside, followed by continuation and go. That's going to be a signal for me that this structure is complete. Okay. Yeah, I just went over Kiwi Swiss, right? I do post my watches on Telegram. I do point out what I watch out for. So sometimes I'll do so the 3 streams I do per week is already gonna point out what I'm watching for the day ahead, right? And sometimes during the week, if I don't have that stream, I'll do a quick market update. So I'll type out kind of the pairs that I'm looking at for that day or so. So usually I do try to update that. I don't do signal though, so that's 2 different things. I don't do signal or anything like that. So that's not what I'm doing here. All right, guys. So any other question, guys? Any other question for me? If not, then I will see you guys next time. I'll see you guys on my weekly outlook on Sunday night or Monday morning, so to speak. And then I'll try to on the weekend. I'll always make a trade recap video. If you haven't seen one of those, make sure you watch that on YouTube or TradingView. This is what I do. Trying to do every week now. At the end of the week, I'll go over the positions that I took and any position that I'm still running for the purpose of just being honest and transparent with everything. Okay. So that is always in my plan to do that. Okay, because I'm kind of a lot of traders come to me asking how come trading isn't what they see on social media. It really isn't, right? Trading really isn't what people see on social media, and unfortunately, we can't change that, right? All these trading gurus on there showing you how much money they make, and then when you actually trade, it's totally different, right? So I'm just trying to show you guys the honest, the transparent, and the real expectation of trading. Someone who's been trading for uh, many years. So I think you only do trade idea. What do you mean by that? Yeah, I don't do signals, my friend. I don't do signals, so that's not what I'm here to do. Okay, everyone. So hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, evening or morning, wherever you are, and hope everyone stay safe out there. And I will chat with you guys next time. All right. Thank you very much.